Racial bullying on a Utah school bus shared on social media.
I'm not encouraged that this video is going to be a wake-up call.
How the school and community are reacting tonight.
Dude, you're gonna get shot! Put your gun down!
Shots fired! Shots fired!
New video shows what led to a sheriff deputy's deadly confrontation with a man in Weber County. See more of what happened coming up.
Students return to class after a week of remote learning.
I mean, if a mask mandate was in place, I would feel comfortable. But without there being one, I feel like I need to have another option open to me.
But families with students in charter schools say their return to learning has been much more complicated.
New information tonight, 5 months after a double murder in Grand County.
But I'm still holding my breath over here.
Why the father of one of the victims says they are still waiting for answers. We start Fox 13 News at 9 with breaking news of an alleged act of racism on a Utah County school bus. The incident was recorded on video and then shared publicly on social media.
Now the Alpine School District and the Utah County Sheriff's Office are involved. Fox 13's John Franke picks up the story live from Utah County tonight. John.
Well, hey guys, that incident is troubling to members of the community who just want to see something done to end this bullying and racism. And because juveniles are involved here, we are blurring their faces and also altering their voices. The video posted to Snapchat and using a filter lasts just several seconds. While a school bus is in motion, several boys surround a black student.
Black guy! Black guy!
The student who's surrounded then yells, "Stop touching me," before the video abruptly ends.
There's no way to watch that video and not feel pain.
I showed the video to Darlene McDonald, a community activist and member of the Utah Black Roundtable.
I'm not encouraged that this video is going to be a wake-up call because the death of a 10-year-old girl wasn't a wake-up call.
She's referring to the death of Izzy Tishner, a Davis County girl who died by suicide last fall. Her family said she was suffering from the impacts of excessive racially motivated bullying while at school.
We're having this conversation too often, and we are saying that we don't want to lose any more of our children, but we're not doing enough to make sure that doesn't happen.
The Alpine School District confirmed they are aware of the incident. A statement said in part, the district's bullying policy and non-discrimination procedures are being followed to ensure the situation is investigated and addressed immediately. Meanwhile, the Utah County Sheriff's Office is working to identify the boys in the video.
You know, everybody should feel safe and feel protected wherever they are, especially as they are going to and coming home from school.
And in a phone call with Fox 13 earlier today, the boy's mom said that bullying has been a problem at school, so much so that she's not allowing her son to take the bus anymore. Reporting live tonight in Utah County, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
John, thank you. We're learning more tonight about a shooting involving a Weber County Sheriff's deputy earlier this month that left one man dead.
The Weber County Attorney's Office has now released 911 calls and new videos in the investigation. We do want to warn you, some of this material may be disturbing.
Now, this happened on January 4th in Hooper. Dispatchers received a call from several people reporting a domestic dispute involving a man now identified as 41-year-old Adam Winters of West Haven. The incident escalated when Winters pulled a gun.
He is intoxicated. He has been trying to provoke his wife. He is banging his head on the floor and on the counter. They have a young child that'll be walking in from school any minute.
Stop it! You need to run off. Please stop, Adam. Please stop.
Authorities arrived moments later and demanded Winters to drop his gun and surrender. This communication failed, and it led to a shootout.
Drop it! He's down! He's down!
The Weber County Attorney's critical incident team is still investigating. The deputy who fired the fatal shots remains on paid leave, which is standard protocol.
If you or someone you know needs help, it is a phone call away. To reach the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition, call 1-800-897-LINK. That's 1-800-897-5465. We do have those numbers and more on our website at fox13now.com. If you or a family member is ever in immediate danger, call 911.
New tonight, multiple laser strikes have hit Utah AirMed helicopter crews, causing temporary blindness in one crew member. AirMed says there were two incidents, both in Sugar House, and both happening to the same crew. They say in the first incident, the laser hit a medical crew member in the eye, causing temporary blindness in that eye. U of U AirMed says laser strikes are a significant problem and can be very dangerous.
The dangers range from simple distraction. The next more dangerous situation would be flash blindness, which is a temporary blindness for whichever pilot happens to look in that direction. And worst of all, it can cause permanent blindness to the pilot.
No patients were injured during either of these flights.
Well, as we near the end of January, COVID cases continue to rise, including among Utah students. 3,309 cases were reported by the state today. And despite so many new cases, thousands of students, tens of thousands, were back in the classroom today after going remote last week.
It was also the first day back since mask mandates were struck down. Fox 13's Emily Tenzer joins us live from Magna tonight to explain the predicament a Salt Lake County family now finds themselves in. Emily.
Bob, families have had that option. Families in public schools have had that option to opt out and switch to remote learning. But for some charter school students, they don't have that choice, even if they are publicly funded. The Martinez family heads into the LSR Ship Community Health Center so 15-year-old Dallas can get his booster shot.
Good. So we're doing the adult dose of Pfizer, third dose for you. Yep. Booster. Okay.
He has to go to school with a bunch of people that are unmasked. The best thing I can do is get him boosted so he has more immunity.
I mean, might as well do as much as you can.
Dallas and his brother Nicholas both attend charter schools.
Whenever the mask mandate is in place, I feel a lot safer.
Their mom, Amanda, says the family now feels like they have to choose between health and education. Nicholas is immunocompromised and his school doesn't offer remote learning.
I mean, if a mask mandate was in place, I would feel comfortable. But without there being one, I feel like I need to have another option open to me.
Amanda wonders what would happen if she has to keep Nicholas home out of concern for his health. At his school, Entheos Academy, if you miss more than 10 consecutive days of unexcused absences, he'd be unenrolled and would have to reapply.
If we were in a public school, we wouldn't have this issue. We could just take them out and do online schooling and put them back in when it was safe. But charter school families don't have that choice.
Students are excused for injury, illness, and quarantine. In a statement, the school says although Entheos Academy does not presently provide an ongoing distance learning option for all its students, the school works with those who have health concerns or disabilities that require individualized plans. Amanda says getting into these schools wasn't easy and doesn't want to have to switch.
Well, because I worked really hard to get them into charter schools.
I like it.
They love their schools. I mean,
no other school does what my school does.
Amanda says the school has made accommodations to help Nicholas. They provided him a safe place for him to eat his lunch alone, and classmates must mask up if they choose to sit by him. Reporting live in Magna, Emily Tenzer, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utah Weather Authority Dan Pope is in for Allison Krogan tonight with our forecast. We've got to talk about, once again, inversion, unfortunately, to start the new week, Dan.
Yeah, that's the way it started. We're going to end it quickly, though, tonight as a little storm system is working its way into Idaho. Also, some precipitation across the northeast and right here. This little storm is coming in. It is bringing some snow to Pocatello and down towards Malad into, it looks like the Bear Lake Valley. Even looks like Kimmer might be getting a little bit of snow. This is going to cruise by quickly tonight. So You can't see the haze. It's there right now, but it's going to blow away tonight and allow us to have a reasonably good night. Now, 35 degrees outside right now. Winds are very light out of the northwest, but those winds may pick up a little bit, even coming out of the east in some of our canyons tonight, and that's going to help us at least clear the air a little bit. 24 in Evanston, 21 in Kemmerer, 21 in Logan, and there may be an inch of snow in Logan and Evanston, but, very light amounts. We'll call it a skiff in a few spots along the Wasatch Front, maybe an inch or two Wasatch Mountains and along the northern flank of the high Uinta Mountains. It's warmer tonight than it was last night. Look at this, 12 warmer in Logan, 7 warmer in Salt Lake City. I'll let you know what the forecast looking like for tomorrow and beyond coming up.
It's been more than 5 months since the murders of 2 women outside of Moab. The case remains unsolved right now. We're hearing from family members about the importance of keeping this case alive. Coming up.
A close call caught on camera is leading to questions about an intersection in Lehigh.
It needs to change. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for, like if someone to really get hurt.
Is the design too dangerous? How UDOT is responding tonight.
The Utah Jazz missing nearly their entire starting lineup. Highlights against the Suns in sports.
Anew tonight, the father of a woman shot and killed with her wife in the mountains right outside of Moab is reacting to new information from investigators. But now, more than 5 months later after their deaths, Fox 13's Brian Cheney reports family members still have many unanswered questions.
On an investigative side, it was nice to see that much of the information that they release is compatible with what we have known for quite some time now.
New information from the Grand County Sheriff's Office was shared with the public for the very first time last week regarding the double homicide of Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner, including that GCSO had a list of persons of interest, but no suspect at this time.
My confident law enforcement, I don't think they're going to call me today, but that's only because I've been holding my breath for 6 months.
It's been nearly 6 months of difficult and emotional work for Kylan's father, Sean Paul Schulte, who had taken on an active role in the community of Moab, trying to create his own list of persons of interest.
Do I want to let my breath out? Hell yeah. Do I want to go in there and give everyone in that sheriff's office a big hug and take them all out to dinner? Hell yeah, I want to. But I'm still holding my breath over here.
The sheriff's office believes the 2 women were killed on August 14th of last year, making it 5 months and roughly 10 days since. Each update on the case gives family members hope that new clues will come in.
Someone might have that little tidbit that makes the break in the case, and they still haven't heard about the double homicide in Moab in August 2021.
But to Sean Paul, most of the information shared recently wasn't new.
I mean, we already knew Brian Laundrie wasn't our culprit.
However, the latest update does send a reminder that the case is not cold.
Until I get the call that says, hey, Sean Paul, we have a match of fingerprints, we have a match of DNA, we have a match of ballistics, we have cell phone pings, and no alibi. Well, now I'll start to say, okay, maybe it's time for me to start to believe that we're going to wrap this up.
The Grand County Sheriff's Office is asking for more information on this case, but they're also encouraging people to be careful about spreading rumors and misinformation on social media. It's something that's been happening for months. Brian Cheney, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I think we'll always be uniquely Utah.
Big changes could be coming to Utah liquor laws. Fox 13's Ben Winslow has the exclusive story from Utah's Capitol Hill.
A deal may be struck to keep hard seltzers from disappearing off of grocery and convenience store shelves.
If you have a favorite product, then the odds are that you will still continue to see that product in a grocery store or convenience store near you.
Fox 13 first reported last year the popular products were in danger of being yanked from store shelves because of Utah's unique legal definition of beer.
We're going to change the definition of how it's manufactured, and we think that we'll get, I don't know that we'll get 100% of what's on the market right now, but we'll get almost all of it.
In Utah, we have a unique relationship with alcohol, which means we often have unique definitions. We've solved, I think, the vast majority of the definitional issues, but there still may be a very small subset of products that have to move into a liquor store format.
Every year, the Utah State Legislature has a bill to deal with alcohol policy.
If you get to the point where you got everyone mad at you, when you're finished, you've probably done your job, and that might be where we are here.
Here's what we expect in the latest bill. The Utah Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control will change its name to the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services. Lawmakers may not change the population quota for bar licenses, but there's still discussion of reworking things so they can free up some new licenses. But lawmakers may also block a bar from selling their liquor license to the highest bidder.
I believe that's something that will probably come to an abrupt end fairly quick.
Is that likely to be in this bill?
That's likely to be looked at really quick in the next 48 hours.
As the omnibus liquor bill continues to be negotiated, one thing that could potentially come back, mini bottles. They are discussing the idea of a pilot program where the DABC can try it out and see if it works.
They have the ability, we think, to do that now, and so we're just going to instruct them to, if they could, to please let's do a test market and see how this works.
The DABC is asking the legislature to fund IT improvements, including the ability for liquor stores to take things like Apple Pay and online ordering.
You can go in, you have a will call line, you show that ID. After the ID check has been made, you pick up your products and you go about your business. It is quick, it is fast, it is safe.
On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And it's good to be with you tonight. Looking at a little storm coming out of Montana. There it is. It's approaching southern Idaho with a little bit of snow. Currently snowing in Pocatello and over Malad Pass and over into Wyoming. I expect this will bring us just a slight chance for snow tonight. So far, no snow accumulating in Logan, but I expect an inch there. A skiff along the Wasatch Front, 1 to 2 inches in the mountains, maybe a little bit more in the Uintas. Here's that storm as it comes down, quickly moves out. Does form a low pressure area right over Colorado. That could be a snow producer for places like Colorado Springs and southern Colorado and Taos in northern New Mexico. Another weak disturbance comes by and that'll keep the air moving around. So the next few days won't be nearly as hazy. But as we move into the weekend, here comes another ridge right over the top of us. This ridge of high pressure is going to dominate right on through Sunday and probably into Monday, but then an approaching storm. Here we go. This is the beginning of a more unsettled weather pattern as we move into, let's see, this is Monday. Here we go, Tuesday. A little bit of a precipitation over the area. Watch what happens on Wednesday. There comes another one. It looks like the ridge has moved way back into the Pacific Ocean, and that's going to allow these storms to come down over the top and on top of us for at least a couple of weeks in the early part of February. So a change in the weather pattern, maybe back to what we had in December. Tonight's low temperature 26, a little bit of snow possible late tonight. Tomorrow we're going to see temperatures a little cooler than they were today, partly sunny but less haze in the air, and that'll be, most of the precipitation, if it falls, it'll be late tonight, early tomorrow morning. During the day tomorrow, 30 degrees in Park City, 27 in Evanston, 53 in St. George. And by the way, there could be a little bit of wind tomorrow night and Wednesday morning coming down the I-15 corridor there around Leeds and Tokerville. 57 by Friday, 59 on Saturday. How about a couple of 60, 61 degree temperatures Sunday and Monday? For the Wasatch Front, we're looking at upper 30s for the next couple of days. More in the way of sunshine. Wednesday and Thursday actually look like pretty good days. Some high clouds around Thursday, Friday. A little bit warmer as we head into the weekend. But then that high pressure ridge is probably going to bring a little haze with it, but only for a couple of days because Monday will be the beginning of several storms the first part of February.
Kids that are in high school see athletes as effective role models and respect what they're doing and listen to what they're saying.
An NBA legend is calling out an NBA Hall of Famer for his comments on vaccines. Still ahead, but John Stockton said that had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar feeling the need to step in. Turning now to COVID-19 in Utah, the number of positive cases over the weekend reached nearly 22,000. There were 738 people hospitalized with COVID-19 and 33 more people have died. These latest deaths mean Utah's death toll stands at 4,063 people.
Well, the number of people who got the COVID-19 vaccine over the weekend increased by 16,519. Nearly 10,000 people received their booster dose, and about 3,000 more people are now considered fully vaccinated. A letter to the State Board of Higher Education accuses Utah Valley University of mishandling its COVID response. The American Federation of Teachers and the American Association of University Professors accuse the school of failing to provide safe and healthy working conditions during the pandemic. The letter calls UVU protocols, quote, weak, unenforceable recommendations that seem tailored to accommodate non-masking in unvaccinated individuals. Fox 13 did reach out to UVU for comment, but have yet to hear back.
NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had some things to say about Hall of Famer John Stockton's comments on vaccines over the weekend. During an interview with a Spokane newspaper, Stockton made false statements saying he believed 150 athletes had died after getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Well, this morning, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar told CNN that Stockton's comments are dangerous and can hurt all athletes.
I think John's reaction to the vaccine is extreme and not based on reality or facts. And if John could just check the facts out, he would understand that this vaccine is saving lives.
Stockton also made headlines this weekend when his season basketball tickets were revoked by his alma mater, Gonzaga University, for refusing to abide by mask mandates at the games.
Coming up after the break.
A former teacher is suing the Park City School District.
That comes with a responsibility to make sure that these students are safe.
Why she says protecting her students led to retaliation by the district.
For the people who love Lake Powell, the hits just keep coming. The latest announcement and what services still remain.
And an intersection in Lehigh. Drivers there say it's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt or worse.
And I knew it was still red, but there was a car just in the intersection going so fast.
We'll show you what we found.
Utah Gymnastics hosting Stanford this weekend. How the gymnasts prepare in sports.
A former elementary teacher has filed a lawsuit against the Park City School District.
She says the district retaliated against her for reporting sexual harassment incidents on behalf of her students. Fox 13's Chris Arnold has the story.
Kathy Moore has taught for the past 25 years.
I'm entrusted with these students every year, and that comes with a responsibility to make sure that these students are safe.
She was teaching 5th grade at Parley Park Elementary in December of 2020 when she was approached by some of her female students.
I had some of my female students come to me after recess one afternoon and tell me about a sexual harassment incident that had happened. This incident was the final incident in a series of incidents that they let me know about.
In a lawsuit filed by Moore, she says the principal of Parley Park Elementary then asked her to inform both parents of the girls and the boy who was being accused of sexual harassment, which she did. Just 2 weeks later, the lawsuit says Moore was directed by the principal to segregate her class by gender, boys on one side, girls on another. A little more than a month later, in January of 2021, Moore was transferred to Trailside Elementary School and given the title of permanent substitute teacher. In April, the district decided not to extend Moore's contract for the following year.
I would do this again and again and again. I would report and protect my students in my care.
Now, we did reach out to the district earlier today, and a spokesperson says they've not been served on the lawsuit yet. Now, since it is a pending litigation involving a personal matter, the district says they will not be making a comment at this time. Reporting in Park City, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In world news tonight, the Pentagon has put 8,500 U.S. troops on standby for potential deployment to the Russia-Ukraine border. Multiple officials say the Biden administration is now identifying specific military units it wants to send. This potential troop deployment comes amid warnings that a Russian invasion on Ukraine could be imminent. NATO is also sending additional ships and fighter jets to Eastern Europe.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is wasting no time moving its missionaries out of Ukraine. The church has reassigned full-time missionaries in the 2 Ukraine missions to other countries in Europe. Those who were near the end of their missions will come directly home. Those who were recently called to Ukraine will temporarily serve elsewhere. Ron Fox, a Utah and U.S. political historian, was part of a delegation to Ukraine in 2008 when Russia threatened to invade Georgia. He says this time Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to prove he has power in the region, and time is not on his side.
I think you have the real opportunity of seeing if Putin is going to back down within the next few days. If he doesn't, it's going to escalate. And everything what I've been hearing today in the news meeting and talking to friends is that it's not going in the right direction.
Fox says this very volatile situation could easily escalate into a major conflict or even war. He says Utahns should continue to pay close attention to what's happening there.
Back closer to home, a Lehigh man had an extremely close call yesterday at a problematic intersection near Thanksgiving Point, and he thinks now it's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt.
Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff looks at the problem and whether there are plans to fix it.
We've all had our close calls in traffic, but look at this.
It needs to change. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for, like if someone to really get hurt.
Lehigh resident James Young is talking about this intersection here at Ashton Boulevard and Clubhouse Drive.
And my daughter, who just got her driver's license, I kind of tell her stay away from this intersection.
Over the past 11 years he's lived here, there have been a lot of changes, including more traffic in the area.
This intersection is like 100 times what it used to be when we first moved in.
James says when the Lehigh corridor was redone, he got in 2 accidents that were not his fault, so he got a dash cam in case of future accidents.
I love the dash cam. Like I see so many people making mistakes.
But yesterday he had an extremely close call. This is the video that James shared in that Facebook group. As you can see, James is waiting in the left turn lane at a red light. This bright red truck makes the same mistake many have made at this intersection and mistakes it for a 2-lane road going west, only to almost hit James and his family head on. So that truck swerved into this oncoming lane of traffic. Luckily, there were no cars, and it ended its journey here in this parking lot. James was prompted to warn people about this intersection online, with many saying they've had their own close calls there.
And all of a sudden I looked up and I knew it was still red, but there was a car just in the intersection going so fast. And it just swerved. My wife kind of screamed a little bit.
He says the left turn markers on the road are usually covered by cars and that the traffic signals are confusing with 2 green lights next to each other.
I mean, if I was the planner, I would come out here and remove one of them and then make the left turn light just a little more obvious.
He's hoping this video will prompt change before someone gets seriously hurt. Now, this intersection is controlled by UDOT, and they say the roadway is marked correctly.
The driver is distracted and isn't paying attention.
Even though the layout has been the same for several years now, new traffic is constantly drawn to Thanksgiving Point because of its attractions.
If you're driving in a new area, it's especially important to pay attention to.
In Lehigh, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, the city of Lehigh says there have been 94 crashes at that intersection since 2010, with only 13 of those in the westbound left turn lanes. UDOT will, however, work with the city to see whether adjustments are needed.
Coming up, detectives hope you can help solve a 40-year-old murder. See what they're saying about a Utah man's mysterious death.
It's both a flaky and a not so hazy forecast. I'll explain what I mean by that coming up in just a few minutes.
Tonight, detectives think they have new leads in a cold case murder from 40 years ago. Trent Olson was stabbed several times in the parking lot of a Salt Lake County park all the way back in 1982. Detectives with Unified Police say the 22-year-old got into a confrontation with 3 men in a bar the night he died. Police say the men took the fight to the park where Olson was stabbed, and the 3 suspects took off. Detectives believe the suspects and potential witnesses are still out there.
Who witnessed the argument in the parking lot, who may have known or may know who these individuals are. So we do believe that these individuals potentially are still around and still potentially could be a threat to the community, and don't know what they have done since.
The suspects are described as dark-skinned males with dark hair. They arrived in 2 vehicles, an American-made Monte Carlo or Camaro, the other a Japanese compact sedan, either a Datsun or a Toyota. Detectives say the rims were painted red. If you know anything about the murder of Trent Olson, call Unified Police.
Tonight, police are searching for an inmate who escaped from the Utah County Jail over the weekend. 36-year-old Tyler Leon Shepard is from Provo. The Utah County Sheriff's Office says Shepard walked out of the jail early Saturday morning while working in a low-security area of the kitchen. Sergeant Spencer Cannon says they know Shepard left with a bag intended for people experiencing homelessness. Inside it, there are a blanket, food, and toiletries. Authorities don't believe Shepard acted alone and do not believe he wants to be caught.
We don't have reason to believe that because of the nature of the charges he's dangerous, but because of what he has done, he clearly didn't want to be here. So we have to assume that he clearly will not want to be caught, and we don't know what he might do to keep from getting caught.
Cannon says once Shepard is caught, he'll face several new charges. If you see him, call 911.
Still ahead, a big change for a popular Utah recreation destination, all because of shrinking water levels. We'll take an in-depth look at how the dramatic shift happening right now at Lake Powell will impact you when we come back.
I'm Andrea Urban. The Utah Jazz are without any of their starters tonight against the Suns. But Utah hung in it. Highlights coming up. Plus, the second-ranked Red Rocks are welcoming another ranked opponent to Utah this weekend. How the women keep their mind right. Still to come in sports.
Tonight, we now know the name of the snowmobiler who died in the Soapstone area of Utah County. Utah State Park Rangers say while riding a snowmobile, 67-year-old Cecilia Ireland from Delaware, she left the trail and traveled down a steep incline where she then struck a tree. Her husband, who was on a separate snowmobile, called 911 for help. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say she was wearing a helmet. The state of Utah is flush with cash currently, meaning the state has a lot of cash to play with for various projects.
The Senate's budget chief gave us the new numbers today, showing the state has $290 million in ongoing money. That's year over year, and more than $1 billion in one-time money. State lawmakers are coming up with a giant wish list for what to do with that money. Republican leaders want to spend it on infrastructure, including water conservation measures and high-speed internet.
I think you'll see significant increases in funding in rural areas, and I mean the objective is to get broadband to every corner of the state, get it past every door if we possibly can. That's the future, and that's where we need to be.
As far as taxes go, the Senate majority has settled on an income tax cut to 4.85%. They do think the House will go along with that. It could, however, go before a committee as early as this week on Wednesday. When it comes to the grocery tax credit for the governor, he favors it. We are told it is still in discussion.
The latest blow to boaters who love Lake Powell came in the form of a Facebook post from Glen Canyon National Recreation Area this morning.
Going in depth tonight, Fox 13's Max Roth takes a look at the dwindling access to the water and to services on the water.
The announcement is the closing of a small slice of civilization on that vast reservoir, Dangling Rope Marina.
Dangling Rope is the only way station for boats to get gas and other supplies as they move through the center of Utah's giant reservoir. And check out these photos from the National Park Service website. In March of 2021, Antelope Point Public Launch Ramp was already only suitable for non-motorized watercraft. The same place in December leads to a dangerous drop-off. Accessibility to the water for anything bigger than a canoe has come down to one access point on the lake for now. Lake Powell used to have 5 major public ramps to handle large private boats. The far north ramp at Height has been high and dry for 20 years. Utah's 2 major ramps at Bullfrog and Hall's Crossing are non-motorized only. The ferry between the 2 points is not running, and the campground launch is closed. If you're planning for late spring and summer, though, the plan is to extend Bullfrog's north ramp by this April. On the Arizona side, only one public ramp, an auxiliary one at the state line, can get a big boat into the water. Midway between Bullfrog and Waweep, boat docks at Rainbow Bridge and now Dangling Rope Marina, both closed. And elsewhere, more signs of the draining lake, like this no longer floating restroom. The harsh reality can also be seen in numbers. The green dotted line shows the median height of the lake surface. On January 23rd, it's normally 3,618 feet above sea level. January 23rd, 2022, the black line, it's 3,533. Every day is a new record low. The low waters mean a lot less lake for visitors. Normally on January 23rd, the lake covers 105,000 acres. This January 23rd, it's just 65,000 acres.
Right now, the snowpack in most of Lake Powell's watershed is at normal to slightly above normal levels on the strength of December storms. While the ramps and Dangling Rope Marina are closed, the businesses at the lake are open, including lodging and rentals. In the newsroom, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utahns caused a lot fewer wildfires last year compared to the year before. The Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands released its annual wildfire report today. It says there were 570 human-caused fires in 2021, which is 922 fewer than in 2020. But there were 245 more natural fires. The biggest wildfire of 2021 was the Bear Fire. It burned more than 12,000 acres near Helper last June. A total of 63,792 acres burned in Utah last year.
We could help Lake Powell and also the fire situation if Mother Nature would simply provide us with a lot of winter snowfall. That has only been kind of an average case this year, and we have a little bit of snow kind of moving in through southern Idaho into northern Utah. You can see it here on the radar, picking up just one or two little splotches of showers here in the north, and I expect maybe enough snow to barely cover the ground, if any at all, tonight. The mountains 1 to 2 inches, especially along the Wasatch, 1 to 3 inches in the northern part of the Uintas. And this is what it'll look like right around 4 a.m. So it's a quick shot, not much to it, but could cause some icy spots on the bridges and overpasses. So maybe give yourself a little extra time. You'll have to scrape the windows of the car as well. Here we are at 6 a.m. Most of this precipitation will be gone and moving south and out of the area. And the good news is it comes with a breath of fresh air. It's going to lift out the inversion because the air above the ground will turn much colder. And when that happens, it allows what's been put on the ground and held on the ground under high pressure, it allows it to just go away. And we like that. So again, as we head into Wednesday, the little weak weather front moves by both Wednesday and Thursday, keeping us stirred up a little bit, keeping the haze to a minimum. Once we head into the weekend, though, big ridge of high pressure dominating. So it'll probably be a little bit of haze once again going into Saturday and Sunday. But by Monday, we have storms coming in, and it looks like Monday into Tuesday, it'll be a lot more stormy than it has been for the last week or so. Week or two, actually. 26 with that chance for a little bit of snow tonight. 37 after the clouds in the morning gives way to more sunshine in the afternoon. We'll see plenty of sunshine statewide. It's going to be 40 in Wendover, 35 in Ogden. Logan will give you a possibility of an inch of snow. Same thing for Evanston, an inch of snow in your neck of the woods. 1 to 3 inches across those northern Uinta Mountains. All the way south along the I-15 corridor, not much if anything. You'll see temperatures tomorrow a little cooler, and there'll be some wind. Once this front goes by, the winds along the canyon mouths near St. George and Washington County will probably pick up anywhere from 20 to 45 miles per hour. So around Tokerville, White Reef, Leeds, in that area, you'll see those wind gusts. Now, temperatures will cool off a bit, dropping to the mid-20s overnight, mid-50s for highs Thursday. Warming up as we head into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That storm system will be approaching southern Utah as well. And it does look like we'll see precipitation statewide next week. 37 tomorrow for a high and 38 on Wednesday. Overnight lows will be around 20 degrees Wednesday into Thursday, 19 overnight Thursday into Friday. We're warming it into the low 40s on Saturday and Sunday, and that little storm system Monday starts to begin the process of changing us from this dry weather pattern. This winter seems to be one of those winters where we get hit hard for a couple of weeks, and then it goes dry for a couple of weeks. So we'll be heading into a wetter weather pattern, but not until next week.
The Utah Jazz are facing the best team in the NBA tonight without any of their starters. That's right, not a single starter was on the floor tonight, all of them dealing with injuries that are not COVID related. So how did Utah hold up? To the Valley we go. Can Utah's depth compete with the Suns' starters? Early on, Devin Booker goes to work. First, he lays it in. Then in transition, Clarkson driving, but a bad pass by Clarkson, and D-Book steals it. He takes it the other way, shoots it ahead, off the glass, and manages to drain the mid-range jumper himself. Booker with 33 tonight. Now, minutes later, Eric Paschall from behind the arc for 3 of his 14. And then in the second, the rookie, Jared Butler, drains the 3, Jazz behind by 6. The Jazz closing in Hassan Whiteside with the floater, and Trent Forrest tips it in. And then Daniel House Jr. steals the ball behind the back and to the hoop. Jazz come back from a 13-point deficit and take the lead. Now, how about some six-man action? Although he was a starter tonight, Jordan Clarkson with the bank shot. He led the Jazz with 22. But CP3, man, he had composure setting up for the long two. He had 27 points. And then Rudy Gay says, hey, I can do that too, as he knocks down the shot. But the Suns were just too much. What a battle by Utah without any starters. Jazz fall just 115-109, the final. Utah Gymnastics is off to a 5-0 start to the season. 4 of those over ranked teams. Now the Red Rocks are ranked second and welcome 19th Stanford to SLC on a Saturday. I asked junior Jaden Rucker if facing these ranked opponents is fun or if it's tough for the team.
I don't really mind it because, again, I just focus on what we do every day in the gym, focus on the team. We have this thing called Utah Bubble, where we just focus on ourselves, because when we are together as a team, that's when we perform our best. So for me, it doesn't really matter because I know what everyone's going to do regardless, because every day we train the same.
Utah men's basketball Jazz guard Lazar Stefanovic picked up his second Pac-12 Freshman of the Week honor today after averaging 11 points, 3.7 boards, and 2.3 assists this past weekend. He's the first U freshman to earn the honor multiple times in a single season. That'll do it for your sports. We'll be right back.
Thinking about where you want to go camping this summer? You might want to check this place out. It's the Zion Eco Cabin. The most liked photo on Airbnb's Instagram account last year. It's located in Hilldale, not far from Zion National Park. But good luck trying to stay there because it is all booked up right now. If you do manage to get a reservation, it'll only cost you $645 a night.
What a steal. What a steal.
You should stay for a couple of nights.
Stick around. Quick Cast is next.